after doing some thinking and taking a nap, I realized like this situation with Diddy is not just so black and white. It has a lot of up and downs, a lot of thoughts about, do we now stand up for victims or are victims now not going to come forward? Were there any victims? Like, there's a lot of questions that people have. And so let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and play the intro. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. Whew, y'all. What a day, right? I feel like I was at the courthouse with all the craziness and I was nowhere near there. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, I'm your boy AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling today? Let me say what's up to the people before we start. What's up, Mary? What's up, beautiful? What's up, Johnny? What's up, Bama girl? What's up, Shawnee? What's up, Denitria? Hey, Denitria, how you doing? What's up, Princess? Who else we got here? What's up, Kita? Nice to see everybody. I know it's a little late, but I'm pretty sure everybody else kept y'all entertained earlier today, but y'all gonna finish y'all night with AT2, or morning, I should say. Start. Yes, there's victims. We all aren't serving the same God. Diddy is down under. Ooh, just saying. Okay, Linda. Okay. Yeah. So with the verdict, for those of you who don't know, by now you should know. So he was acquitted on 3 charges and then guilty on 2. The 2 were for the transportation and prostitution. That one was more black and white. With this case, I think that it wasn't simplified for the way people to understand it, because really what it seemed like is like, okay, you're charging him for being a freak. I think that's more or less what everybody kind of dwindled this case down to, is that Diddy is on trial for being a freak. But what they were trying to prove was that this was a whole criminal organization working together to, have these prostitutes and all these freak offs and all this stuff. And they were not able to prove that. I started seeing a change as the case went along, where a lot of people were like, okay, what is Diddy being guilty of? I don't know. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys heard about that. What's up, Michelle? What's up, Miss Barbara? But a lot of people were wondering, like, okay, what is this case even about? I was hearing that more as the case went on. And it's kind of like, oh, well, he was doing this, that, and that, and this. And I thought for me, I guess because I'm the kind of person that researched it, it seemed like it would. I knew what they were trying to charge him with, but something got lost in translation where it wasn't easy for people to understand. So if it wasn't easy for people like us to understand, then that means for the jurors, they didn't understand it either. But more or less, you started hearing people say like, okay, what is he being charged for? I don't understand. I don't get it. It's not making sense to me. And so when I kept hearing that more, I was all like, yeah, I didn't think he was going to go down with a RICO. It was like we said, it's a FRICO, not a RICO. And so because it's a FRICO, they, decided to not predict, but they decided with not charging him with a RICO, but, with the trafficking and prostitution, like that was obvious, right? If you just look at the definition of the whole Mann Act and then the transporting to engage in prostitution, yeah, that's what that was. Now, I was very surprised with the sex trafficking that at least Cassie didn't get that, just because we seen the evidence of her, being dragged in the hotel. But that could be looked at as a situation like, okay, well, that was a one-off. that could have been looked at, okay, this was a one-off situation. This wasn't something that kept going on. Like he kept um, holding her against her will. Even though there was testimony that he would show up at her apartment and, beat up her friend. What was her friend's name? It didn't, I think it was like Kristen or Kathy or something like that. Her friend that Diddy struck with the wire and then he paid her off. Like, I wonder how come that wasn't more or less really stressed how like he would pay these people off. He paid off Capricorn Clark. He paid off Cassie's friend. He tried to pay off Bonna, the one that he dangled over the balcony. Remember, he tried to pay Bonna off, but then Bonna said no. So I wonder how come that wasn't looked at as well too. But I think for the average everyday person, that wasn't looked at as a RICO. Remember, these jurors aren't online like us. This is what I was telling you guys earlier. The jurors, they're not online all day trying to figure out, what's been going on, what's been said, all the history and stuff like that. They're literally going by what was seen. I know you guys are talking about Bonna, but there was another person that he struck. The white girl. What was the white girl's name? Not Mia, not Mia, the pseudonym name, but there is a white girl, and I believe her name was Kathy that he struck with the wire hanger or something like that. Let me look it up because I don't think y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, maybe the best friend name wasn't Kathy. Maybe I got it wrong. Hold on. Ventura's mother, best friend, former best friend testified. Carrie. Ding, 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 ding. I apologize, you guys. Her name was Carrie, not Kathy. Carrie. Yeah, Carrie Morgan. Yes, thank you, Stephanie. Carrie Morgan. That's what the name of the friend that was struck with the wire hanger. And she took like, I think 30. And that's the other thing, too. This mofo was barely paying anybody any money. I hate to laugh at it, but literally, this mofo was cheap. When you because I used to work for a luxury furniture company, you realize that a lot of these rich people or so-called wealthy people, they are really cheap. This is how they keep their money. Like, how you pay for something, right? And you just pay whatever the price is, right? No, these people would literally call in to waive delivery fee, waive this, waive that, try to get the taxes lowered, try to get a discount just because it was Monday. Like, these rich people, they are very cheap. Cheapskates. Yeah. They are very cheap. And so with Diddy, even though I guess also too, because it wasn't like millions of dollars, it was very low end. I don't know if they ever got like a total of how much like he spent on prostitutes and paying people off and all that. I don't think they ever got to a solid number. I think that also would have helped with the RICO if they got to a solid number of how much he spent. I think you just had to add up the totals in your head, basically. Now, I know we talk a lot about Cassie, how, she wasn't the perfect victim. I also said that Jane Doe wasn't a perfect victim as well, too. I honestly feel that Jane Doe hurt the case more than Cassie did. I think with Cassie, basically, this whole case was built around Cassie, right? Let's just put that out there. So she was the reason, right? However, with Jane Doe, I think they should have left her off the stand. And the reason being is because Jane Doe was still getting her rent paid. So if I'm just an average everyday person, you're telling me like Diddy did this and X, Y, and Z, right? But he's still paying your rent and everything like that. You're confused because it's all like, why do you still have a connection to this man? And why is he still paying your rent if he's such a bad guy? Mind you, because she was able to get immunity, that's when she flipped over to the prosecution side. But remember, originally she was working with the defense, and then she cut out all communication with the defense once she found out that she could be in turn charged. So she flipped and went with the prosecution. So don't forget that either. It's the prostitution. Yeah, maybe it was a situation they just needed her on the stand for like one day. But to have her on the stand, she was on the stand for at least like 5 days, right? Does anybody exactly remember? I gotta like revert back and kind of remember everything. But she was at least on the stand for like 5 days. I think the longer she spoke, the worse it made the situation. Yeah. Oh, Shawnee, don't. Yes, thank you for remind. I was just about to say that. And thank you for the super chat. Yeah, she hugged. Was it Teeny Garagos? I think it was Teeny Garagos. She hugged her after she testified. that lady was playing both sides. And don't forget, they seen Jane Doe at the gas station, and she looked all happy and everything like that. And mind you, this was yesterday before the verdict even came down. They seen Jane Doe there. Do we still have to call her Jane Doe, you guys? Or can we just call her by her name? Now that we know who she is, do we have to call her Jane Doe? And remember the other day, I was talking about how we they should, I'm glad that they didn't interview Gina or had Gina testify, because I believe Gina would have made the situation worse, and she would have flipped and been on Diddy's on Diddy's side. I said that would be a horrible idea to interview Gina. And I was right, because Gino talking about, oh, he's not a dangerous guy. He's never been dangerous towards me. Lady, you told us that he kicked the baby out your stomach. Are you sure that he's not dangerous? And I hate to laugh at it, but it's like literally these women, you're kind of like, I think the women who had the stronger testimony, Capricorn Clark being kidnapped, given a lie detector test, and not just the women, like the former employees, the assistants and stuff like that who testified, they had a stronger testimony. Carrie Morgan, who really didn't even want to be there, but she was there because she was subpoenaed. Remember, she was struck by Diddy and was trying to like pull him off of Cassie because he was beating up Cassie. There was another woman that I felt was, I would even say Bonna. Now, Bonna didn't, some of the time stamps and, the situation, it was kind of off, but Diddy never denied dangling her over the balcony. It was more or less like the whole sexual assault part where she said he picked her up by her breasts. Like that was the part where it's all like, okay, well, how did he pick you up? Like what? Like that part didn't make any sense because they kept going back and forth with the details. But I felt like Bonna had a strong testimony because, yeah, he did hold her over the balcony. Like, yeah. But I feel like the other women, as far as the freak off participants, they weren't the strongest. I mean, if I had to go with one, Cassie, yeah. But the other people, no. One thing that was interesting to me is that, Young Miami didn't really come up. Now, in Jane Doe's testimony, he talked about the other girlfriend that she was hanging out with during the birthday. That was Young Miami. But Young Miami didn't have to testify or anything like that. Diddy kept her well protected, or maybe he paid her very well, and so she didn't want to speak. She said, "Hey, I don't know nothing. I don't know anything." And also, you have to remember, Young Miami probably has the lawyers too. Oh, Mia. Yeah, definitely Mia. That's the name that I was trying to think of. Mia. Yeah, I think Mia had a strong testimony too. Also, I think another thing that hurt a lot of people was that there were lawsuits done, but there wasn't like a police report saying like, they never went down to the police. And yes, because they were scared and worried that something might happen to them, totally get. But I think there wasn't a paper trail of them keeping records of everything. It was more or less like, okay, Diddy would do this to you, but it seemed that you had an opportunity to get away. I think that's how the jurors actually looked at a lot of it too. And remember earlier, this is going to be trigger warning. Um, I think when you look at the situation where she said that he R-worded her, and then she went back to him while she was dating Alex at the time. In the world that we live in, the woman is going to be blamed for that situation, no matter if Diddy did that or not, right? It's going to be looked at, well, you were stupid enough to go back to him after you said he R-worded you and you had a boyfriend, so you were two-time and playing them. Also, remember Kid Cudi, when he testified, he said that he felt Cassie was two-timing them. Now, was Cassie, am I saying that Cassie was not a victim of something? No, I'm not saying that she was not a victim. However, I think she was not looked at as she was, I don't want to say damsel in distress, but y'all get what I'm trying to say, right? She wasn't looked at as like she was vulnerable. I think they really try to make her seem like she was vulnerable and that she couldn't defend herself. I think another moment that hurt her was the audio tape of her saying to the Shaheen, what was his name? Shaheen or Shaquille? Shaheen, I think that's what his name was. But remember, there was a guy who had allegedly seen freak off tapes. Diddy told her to follow him and see where he got the tapes from. And so she was like yelling at him. She was like, "I'm gonna kill you," and then he's gonna kill you, but I'm gonna kill you. It's kind of like, okay, well, what kind of mob boss are you? Like, are you a victim or a mob boss? Also, something that I feel that hurt was I think there was too much focus on the sex. There is too much focus on the sex, but I will say this. I think honestly, and mind you, we didn't see the freak off tapes. And some of y'all are probably like, AT2, why are you worried about the freak off tapes? If the tapes show that these women were enjoying this and loving, the freak offs, and they had some kind of enjoyment, pleasure out of it, I don't think that helped the prosecution. I think that more or less hurt them. I think they should have kept the whole freak off tape. I think they should have had left that alone as far as showing the tapes. Them showing the tapes, I feel like that hurt the prosecution side. That hurt the government. Now, I do know from different people that some of them had a visceral reaction, some of them laughed and giggled, so they probably had mixed emotions. But at the same time, I think them showing those tapes, and if the girls looked like they were enjoying themselves, that it's kind of like, oh well, yeah, this is consensual. I think more or less it proved that it was consensual instead of, okay, this was a situation they were forced in. Like, no matter how nasty it was or what they seen, if the girls seem like they were okay, like you didn't hear like the girls say, "Oh no, don't do it," like don't do, like if you didn't hear that, then yeah. Jag is no Mia. Now, who the hell is saying Jag is Mia? Listen, I already, y'all better watch my video that I did in the studio where I talked about all these alleged victims and all these conspiracy theorists. Ain't none of them took the stand, ain't none of them testified, nothing. You have the wrong thought process. It's not about my thought process, princess. It's about the jurors. It's nothing to me. It's not my thought process. I'm just explaining how the jurors probably seen it. And I think the jurors did see it more or less that way, of them showing the videos. Now, if they're showing the videos to show like they did engage with sex with prostitution, with prostitutes or the escorts or whatnot, okay, did you really have to watch it though? Like, I'm like, they told you, like, yeah, they did engage in sexual activity. Like, why was it necessary to watch the tape? Those tapes were overkill. Yeah. All these women Diddy had were extremely jealous of each other, especially of Kim Porter and Young Miami. The defense really played that up, how the women were jealous of each other. They did do that. Let me know in the chat. Okay. Do you think they should have shown the freak off tape? Sorry, I pressed it too early. Do you think that they should have showed the freak off tapes? Yes or no? That one had a little bit of a mixed reaction. Okay, I'm gonna do a poll question on this one then. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not surprised by it, but I'm gonna do a poll question on it. Hold on. Okay. Do you think the freak off tape should have been shown in court? Okay. Oh, that was an ugly freeze grab on me. Where I like paused my camera. I was like, oh shit, that was ugly. Just like child pee. Yeah, like I don't think that should ever be shown in court, even if it ever like we get it, like it's like we don't need to see. Kind of like like the R. Kelly tape, they played that as kind of like, did you really have to play it? Like, it's evident. It's evident, so I don't think it would be okay. Takes from the defense side, they have an alternative sexual lifestyle. Yeah. Beautiful. They really drove that home with the alternative sexual lifestyle. Oh, he's just a swinger. They really knelt that home. And let's be honest, if you're just looking at this from a standpoint of like this was just some kind of sexual shit, like, oh, these are just freaky people. I think the way that we kind of see sex now, people are still prudes, but those people are probably more advanced and was all like, oh yeah, like I probably been in this situation where I done some freaky stuff. It's just that my freaky shit wasn't on camera. So the jurors probably looked at it like, okay, well, these are just some they into some freaky shit, plain and simple. Not that it was anything illegal. They were just all like, oh, they're just into some freaky shit. It's traumatic. We don't need to see it. Yeah. And again, it seemed like that had mixed reactions. That's why I did a poll question. Let me see where we at right now. Okay, 74% of you, 71 said no. Okay. 29% says yes. Okay, yeah, it definitely does seem mixed on this question. Like it's not so black and white. All right. So the courthouse craziness, right? It seemed like every day was something wild going on. You know, the one lady, can't I think it's Candor or Candor. I think she went by Candy actually. Candy, you know, she was my favorite lady when she was out there cussing people out. But then she got like violent and shit like that. And I was like, nah, I don't agree with that. Um, it seemed like a lot of people were looking for their moment. And I was watching Armand earlier, and he said this, and I kind of agree with him that it was like once he went and he was gaining traction, it seemed like everybody else and their mama wanted to go. Now I know, shout out to Celebrity Scandalous, shout out to her. Of course, I'm gonna shout out like my hometown heroes, Celebrity Scandalous. Shout out to T. Mims was there, Tisa Tells was there. But you know, you kind of seen like the first batch and the first wave of YouTubers, and then it seemed like everybody else wanted to come the following week and kind of gain on that traction and that momentum. And now, am I saying that, oh, they all were trying to clout chase and they were trying to get their moment? No, I'm not saying all of them, but some. You know, I'm not gonna say all of them, but some I did feel like they were trying to clout chase and get a moment. Like I was just all like, um, you know, this was fun though. Yeah. Reddit was tearing Armand up. Oh, we're gonna get to, yeah. Because a lot of y'all had some reaction regarding the whole baby oil thing outside the courthouse. We'll get into that too as well. But it does seem like once they started seeing like the people like Armand, Mims, Tisa Tells start picking up traction, it seemed like the other YouTubers are like, oh yeah, let's also go. Now, am I saying like they didn't already have plans to go? I'm not sure. I don't know. But I believe if you came late to the trial, then you probably was trying to pick up on some traction. And listen, I ain't mad at you. Oh, you know, I'm not mad at it, but yeah, it does seem like people went for some moments. Um, you know, especially one YouTuber in particular, we know that, you know, was trying to start shit with Gene Deal and all that. We know that there are people that went to make some moments. But like I said, didn't I tell y'all in the beginning though? Didn't I tell y'all, if you're going for the experience, you're going for the experience. But if you're going with the idea that you're going to be a star and you're going to be on TV and stuff, like, do not go with that idea. And I feel like some people went with that idea, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a star, I'm gonna be famous, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and it's all like, no, you know, yeah, you wasn't gonna be a star like that. That wasn't. Listen, they weren't going to take all these YouTubers and be all like, oh yeah, we're gonna go with all the, you know, all you guys are great, we're gonna put you all on TV. No, it was only gonna be a select few. And especially because most of y'all was black, they was only going to pick a select few. They weren't going to pick all of you, only a select few. And I hate that we still live in that kind of society where it's not just based on talent, it's based on a select few. Y'all can be mad that I said it, but somebody had to say it. It wasn't going to be you. It was only going to be a select few. They wasn't going to put all you niggas on TV. Did you think they were going to put all of y'all on TV? No. It was only going to be a select few. I don't know why I keep doing that. A select few. Thank you, V Goddess. I appreciate that. Thank you for the $10. Do you want somebody oil? Thank you. Yeah, she got put in an article. Mims got put in the article. Um, you know, Armand did Angela Yee. Um, Tisa Tells it NBC or MS. She did one of the news stations, and I think Armand did TMZ. Yeah, like you seen the people, like they did. You know, they did the damn thing. I'm not gonna lie about it. One per. Oh, oh. This is my show. I can say whatever I want to, right? I think I always said like Tasha K should have went. Like I felt like if Tasha K went, it would have, you know, been a moment for her. But I'm actually glad that she didn't go because I feel like with Lovely T, with her going, I think it just made her look normal. And some of y'all like AT2, what do you mean? I feel like it didn't elevate her. I feel like she was just kind of there. Where, you know, maybe because she came later, that's why, but it just seemed like she just blended in and she didn't stand out like a star. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that because I know y'all gonna eat me up in the chat, but I just kind of felt like she didn't stand out. What's up, Lady Letitia? Yeah, she didn't stand out. Yeah, okay. So y'all agree with me. Okay, I'm not crazy. Like I feel like she was just kind of there. Like she didn't really like stand out as like a leading voice or anything like that. I feel like with the other people, they really stood out. But with her, she kind of played in the background, and maybe she didn't want to be like a couple of things. Maybe she didn't want to be seen, but I feel like if you don't want to be seen, then what you doing there? You know what I mean? Like I feel like all of them could say they were there to cover the trial and stuff like that, but you went to be seen. You wanted to be seen. We got to have a real heart to heart, right? We have to have a real heart to heart about it. Like you wanted to be seen. Just like if I would have went, I would have wanted to be seen. I wouldn't be all like, "Oh, I'm just here, you know, covering the." Everybody and their mama is covering the trial, right? But with that being said, I do think that you know if you went, you spent your money, you spent your time. The Emily, the Katy Perry, yeah, she was there. Um, Secret Service Sam, he was there. You know, there were people who did their thing. You know, I'm not denying that, but I feel like everybody kind of went with the intent, like, okay, I'm gonna be a big star, and it's like, nah, no, no. And didn't I say this too? I was all like, I could have went, you know, the last week or so, but I was all like, I don't think this case is my moment. I don't think this is for me. And you know, I didn't even like covering the case because it just grossed me out, damn it. It did. All the baby oil, all the juices and everything flowing. That shit was just nasty to me. It was just nasty. I was like, oh, no. And I wouldn't want to be in that courtroom because, first of all, y'all know I weigh 750 pounds. I got to eat. When did they have time to eat? Because it seemed like as soon as they had a break, they all ran outside to be on their phone and report on, nah, I need to go eat. And then don't forget that I got pseudo IBS and I'll be having to take a shit. So when did they have time to eat? When did they have time to take a shit? Like those are things that I'm you know, like yeah. I need to be comfortable, y'all. And were the chairs small, you know, like were the chairs comfortable? Like, I'm not trying to be squeezing tight. And you know, people be musty, people be smelling like corn chips, people be funky. Like, oh no, I need nah, Yeah, I need to be comfortable. I need to make sure that I'm not around people that are funky. I need to make sure that I'm able to go to the bathroom whenever I want to because of my pseudo IBS. I need to make sure that I eat. You know, AT2 like to eat. I gotta be taken care of. Like, no, I'm not gonna be just one of those people at the no, I need to be comfortable, y'all. Mm. That's just me. I'm just gonna be honest. I think about shit like that. You know, just like, oh, if some shit pop off, where's the nearest exit? How can I run? How can I get out of here? That's something I think about too. You know, you are spoiled. Yes, I am very spoiled. Yes. And standing in the rain with New York's bipolar. Yeah, they were standing in the rain. They was in the heat. It was cloudy. It was sunny one day. It was too much going on. You know, it's one thing, hey, I'm gonna do a month in Vegas, right? Or I'm gonna do a month in LA. I'm gonna do a month, you know, places that are familiar to me, but I don't know if I would do a month in New York like that. That's a lot. If I'm not from you got to remember, I'm from the Bay Area, so the culture is different. I don't know if I could have did an extensive time like that. Nah, no, we need to come home. Oh, thank you, Shawnee. She said, just saying, a lot of those content creators there be on stimulants. Just saying, oh! They don't need to eat. Yeah, hmm yeah, yeah. There needs to be a moment for me to go eat. You know, and then like two, it would be my first time in New York, and I don't think my first time in New York, I would want that to be the Diddy trial. You know, because I would really want to enjoy it, you know, seeing Times Square, go out to different places, go to Jersey, really see how they do it in New York, you know? I would really want to experience the culture and go sightseeing and all that shit. But going to the courthouse, like you really would have to work. Tisa is a jackass. What Oh Lord, I guess let's go ahead and get into it. Let me see if I can find Armand's video real quick. Because he had it from the angle of RatchetTV and Tisa Tells. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, it's not that video. Is it this one? Uh, Dang, Armand went live like a few different times, huh? But there was one in particular that showed his angle of that whole. I don't want to say. I don't even like saying fight because it's a man and a woman, so I don't even like saying fight. But uh, I don't like saying altercation. I don't know what the proper term would have been or would be for that. Maybe I'll play it from Tisa's end. Tisa. Where's actually Ratchet TV? Where's his video? Hold on, we gonna get it together, y'all. Okay. Okay. I got it. This is so petty. But of course, this is my channel. Of course, it's petty, right? Okay, here we go.
He is crashing out. He's crashing out. He's crashing out, and I love to see it. He is whoever it is, he is crashing out. Meanwhile, the man that he rolled out for don't know him, won't shake his hand, but he wants at the end of the day. And Idige, listen, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, it is what it talks about. And I get it. And it's sad that these band of married men are doing this. You guys, let's get back into this, okay? So anyway, Mark Agnifilio, listen, I will say this one time. The jury got it wrong, and the jury enabled this behavior. This is what the jury enabled. These are the people that support Diddy. This is the type of thing that they want actually done. Grown men and men crashing out, emotional over someone that doesn't even know they exist. Grown men fighting for the fact that they should be able to abuse, bully, yell. This is the world they want to live in. This is the world they want to live in. And now they're crashing out, screaming, voices cracking because they're mad that security is making it impossible for them.
So that's why I wanted to show Armand's video, because Tisa is actually barricaded in and she has 2 security guards. I remember I asked y'all if she had security, and I believe y'all told me no, but then no, she actually does have security. Like, she had 2 security guards. She's barricaded in where people can't get to her. And listen, rightfully so, right? Like, you know that people are coming for you. You better have some kind of protection. So I totally get it. But again, with Tisa Tells, my criticism for her is that it does seem that she was going so hard for the prosecution and not giving both sides to the situation. And so when you have a verdict like this, then you're kind of left with egg on your face, like, okay, well, damn, did I miss it? And I think also too, the angle that she tried to say is like, because of the country that we living in, and you know, all this other stuff, and these men are out here doing these kind of things and we're enabling it. I think that was the wrong angle. Like, it's okay to state that, you know. I do feel that we are desensitized as a country. I will first to say that, right? But I think just to make it seem like, you know, this country is this and that, and look at the times we're in, and the jurors enabled it and stuff like, because trust me, the jurors are going to have a hard time. They're going to have a hard time. So I think even putting that out there makes it seem like the jurors were in the pockets. Or I even seen one show where they said, I'll just say the names, Natanya Rubin, she put in the title like where the jurors paid off. I'm like, oh shit, like y'all going that far? The jurors paid off? I was like, ooh, like, I don't know about that, you know, saying the jurors were paid off. You know, Tisa was doing that Milagro type report. Oh, you know, Milagro Grams got 8. I mean, shit, Milagro Grams is in a lawsuit right now, right? Because of her faulty reporting. And so with Tisa Tells, they're looking at her as the new Milagro. Like, hey, what, you was in that courthouse and you didn't see none of this coming? And mind you, Tisa Tells could have the opinion that I feel that Diddy is guilty. I'm not taking that away from her. But again, just like I was telling you guys, everybody is biased and everybody has their own perception, right? And so, you know, people are going to give you how they feel. Some people are going to play it safe and just say, oh, I don't have an opinion. Some people are going to be left. Some people are going to be right, right? So I think when you are one of those people who are like, no, this is what it is. This is how I feel. And you're on one end of the spectrum, you kind of have to go with it. You can't all of a sudden just be all like, nah, well, maybe I was wrong or this and that. Like, you got to find some way to spin it, you know? You got to find some way to make it palatable for people where people are like, okay, so you done said all this shit and then you like you was lying, because basically what they're saying is that Tisa was lying. But was she lying, or was this her perception? Just like when people say that Diddy was innocent, were they lying, or was that just their perception? All in all, I do want to say this. Diddy was found guilty on 2 accounts and then was acquitted of the most serious. So, it's kind of like half and half, basically. Laugh out loud, right? Like lighten up, Buttercup. All for super chats. Oh, wow. And remember I had called out Dennis Byron, because he was all like, yeah, Tisa, she got special privileges, she had VIP seating and all this other stuff. Well, it's been said by multiple people that she does have VIP seating. Like, she did have a special spot. Now, I know she said she would pay like a line sitter and stuff like that to stand in line, but there was more than just a couple of people saying that she had special privileges. Now, do I think she was in bed with the prosecution and being paid by them? No. But did it help that she was pro victims and pro she was on the prosecution side? Yeah, I think that did help, where they were like, okay, we like her. We want her to be in the courthouse. We want her to be here, And I think, too, people seeing her like, oh, she's on TV and she's this, she's that. I think it made people look at her like, oh, well, why does she get this and I don't get this? Because it seemed like everybody was cool with Tisa in the beginning, right? But it seemed like now that it flipped to where Diddy was found acquitted on a few charges, everybody done turned on her. Or do you think that it wasn't necessarily a turn? They just realized that she was possibly, trying to, like, do you think, let me ask you just plain and simple like this. Do you think people are hating on Tisa Tells? Yes or no? 30 seconds. All right. So, few of y'all. Okay. No, yes. She had 10K in her chat. She got too personal. Okay. Let me ask you guys this question. Do you feel that Tisa Tells lied or misled people on purpose? Yes or no? Oh, that was a very, even Bama Girl said yes, kinda. Oh. And I know some people said like she was given like some special information and she knew some insider stuff. I don't know what exactly she was given though. Like, that's the thing. I don't know what what information she was exactly given that other people weren't. Can we ask a question about Storm Monroe just being 100? Wait, what did Storm do? No, and I think I didn't really see Storm's coverage on Diddy. I don't know if you mean just in general, but I'm talking about this situation with the courthouse though. She did the same with the Jay-Z lawsuit. Yeah, and I was one of the people that called her out on the Jay-Z thing, saying, "Oh, well, it was 2003." I did not like that. I was the first one to tell y'all, like, nah, this ain't it right here. And some of y'all are like, AT2, you're such a hater, blah, blah, blah. And y'all, I was like, no, y'all, this shit did not happen. I don't care what year you change it to. It did not happen. That was the basis. And even if you come out and say, oh, she got the year wrong, well, where did she get that from? You know? That was one of my things. Okay, this one was really mixed with how y'all feel. Okay. She's a boss, quit hating, enjoy watching her glow up. Yeah, and like I said, with her being one of the black content creators to get the shine and get on TV and stuff like that, hey, it is what it is, right? And I will always say, like, hey, you did your thing. For me personally, I feel that if this was one of the white content creators getting all the shine, all the publicity, I feel like we wouldn't even think twice about it. We would just be like, oh yeah, they got that. But I feel like because she is one of us, that's why some people feel like, oh, well, she over here doing this. And like, I feel like that's why it's easier for us to criticize her compared to the other ones, because are we gonna say that none of the white content creators out there was lying, like Secret Service Sam and all of, like, we not gonna say they weren't lying or told a couple of lies and shit like that? And by the way, I'm not saying lying is okay. Let's be clear. I'm not saying lying is okay at all. I am not saying that. I don't want y'all to think that lying is okay. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm talking about is how we compare and how we treat our own. That's what more or less what I'm talking about. AT2, she was on Nancy Grace exaggerating like hell about, oh, see, I didn't actually see the show. Okay. She's on there exaggerating, happened to her today. Shout out to Tisa. RatchetTV been trying to glow up forever. He mad. Oh, so you feel like he was just salty about her. Lying to get, they got me quoted. What was the quote that? Remember that one fool? Yeah. Who cares if they lie? Just let them lie. Let them get the bag. Y'all never gonna let me live that shit down, huh? Lie and get the bag. Listen, I need to lie more because I ain't got no bag right now. I ain't got no bag right now, so I need to lie more. Shit, that's my problem. Shit, I'm doing too little lying. I need to do more lying so I can get the bag. Not let them lie. Yeah, Couture, that fool. I don't think he plays that clip anymore, but he had that clip saying, yeah, lying. If they want to lie, let them lie. And that was totally taken out of context, too. That was taken out of context the whole fucking time. I'm like, yeah. And I've already explained it. If you feel a certain kind, I've already explained it in the past. I'm not gonna keep explaining myself, because if y'all think I lie just to lie and get the bag, trust me, the bag isn't that big. So obviously, I'm not doing a good job at the lying. Tisa is just a pretty face with fat talk and be and be having the tea all wrong. I caught her a couple of times. What's up, Blessing? How you doing? Let's uplift Diddy's deranged ass and break down Bambi. Oh, I was very surprised that it seemed like everybody was celebrating that Diddy, he was acquitted of a few charges, on 3 charges, because I'm all like, okay, what's going on? Like, and some people had a visceral reaction. Like I know a lot of my subscribers or DMing me and was like, are you seeing this? It seemed like everybody's happy, everybody's celebrating Diddy got off. And it just kind of proved my point that people were there just to get a moment. It wasn't about, oh, we care about victims, we want to see justice and blah blah blah. It did seem like everybody was there for their moment. Just put it plain and simple. And I weigh 800 pounds. Ain't nobody gonna whoop my ass. I'll sit on you. But with that being said, I honestly feel everybody was there just for a moment. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Let me ask y'all so y'all can be my backup. Do you think people were there for justice or for a moment? 30 seconds. Yeah, yeah. Down. Everybody to the moment. Yeah. Because you could play the background role. You could be in the background. You don't necessarily have to be out front or try to do all the people is there trying to make their money, and I ain't mad at it. I've congratulated everybody who went. But I think also we have to be honest, we have to be honest. What's up, Queen Studio? How you doing? Charles, a huge distraction that he experienced, a humiliation of some sort. I think Tisa was hurt. She used her platform and shared her non-objective opinion. Okay. I think she was too emotionally involved. Yeah. Get your money, just don't lie. Get your money, just don't lie. I like that. Yeah, it's better than mine. And you guys, I feel like also too, this has been a big distraction. So that big beautiful bill that they're trying to pass in the House, they actually 4 Republicans actually said no. So the next step is that they have to now go back and recalibrate what they're going to do next, because now that it didn't pass through, it can't get signed. So that is good news, because people are going to be out of Medicare. And I want to tell you guys something too, because I got to educate y'all. I ain't gonna have no dummies in my chat. Y'all gonna be educated whether or not you like it. One thing about Medicare, Medi-Cal, whatever it's called in your state, look up what it's actually called, just like y'all are confused about Obamacare. The thing is that they want to make sure there's a work, and for food stamps as well too, they want to make sure there's a work requirement. Over 67% of people on Medicare, they do work. I think a lot of people are under the impression that if you're on Medicare, you don't work. No, 67% do work. And then there's a breakdown of like elderly, disabled, and all that stuff. But 67% of people actually do work that's on Medicare. So never just think people are just sitting at home. Also, with this bill, it's going to hurt a lot of people in rural areas where hospitals are going to be shut down. Hospitals aren't going to get funding. Your electric bill is going to go up in some states as well, too. They're cutting a lot in education. All those after-school programs, you might have some latchkey kids and stuff like that. The after-school programs, the summer programs. In California next year, they're taking away $800 million. They're cutting $800 million out the budget for after-school programs. This is just in California. So I don't know what it is in y'all state, but I imagine they're cutting a lot. So, you have to really think about what's really going on here. So I just wanted to stress that. So the bill did not go through. 4 Republicans voted no. So there's still some time, but, again, you never know. I wanted to see how the Diddy trial played out. But trust, I'm paying attention to that bill. Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to let y'all know, like, yeah, we can have fun talking about this Diddy stuff, but there's some real shit going on too. All right, y'all. I kind of said everything I wanted to say. Please hit that like button. Did y'all hit the like button? Kamala somewhere shaking her head and saying, I told you. Yeah, exactly. And that was another thing too. Oh, she said, I told you so. Like, that's, how can you say that when Americans are suffering? No, because she did tell you so. Like, yeah, that's why. But I love you guys. Please be safe. Please love one another. That's my main message that I want to tell y'all. It's a lot of love, and there's money out here for all of us to get. So it don't seem like this situation with Ratchet and Tisa is going to go any further. It's just going to be surface level. So yeah. But again, shout out to all the content creators that went. Y'all spent y'all money. I hope y'all got y'all money back because yeah. Them hotels was a lot. The plane ticket was a lot. The hotel was a lot. I know a lot of y'all flew out on Spirit, but I ain't judging you. The motherfuckers flew out on Spirit, acting like they balling. But anyway, y'all, let me get out of here before I get in trouble. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some backlash tomorrow. I love y'all.